All right, I think we're back. So, all right, I got attacked on the line there. They must not have liked what I was saying or something, but that's okay, because I'm about done anyway. I just wanted to come on here. Like I said, I'm not here. I'm not trying to make friends or anything like that. I'm here to share a very important message because it just seems like that everybody's walking away from it, but even though it may not matter, I just don't want to hear people with their bullshit of saying that they're Christian and whatever's going to happen, that's the Lord's will. Of course, it's the Lord's will, whatever happens. But the Lord didn't give you free choice, and the ability to have a soul and to care about individuals, you know, just for you to throw your hands up and it literally there's a video that I was going to show you, but I had to switch out because they attacked me or whatever and shut me. That's the first time they've been trying to do it on the other shows. And Zonda, I understand you're with us or whatever, so I know that you've seen it. I know Noma's seen it. But they finally they got me this one. Anyway, I'm gonna move on past that. Yeah, just call it like it is. If you're afraid, say I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna try to run and hide. I've talked to individuals. Literally, they're saying that it's like, well, I don't know what to do. I see all this, and I'm not kidding you. Like you can literally see the frightened look on this is insane on people that's living here in this country's faces. And do you know why? Because you are talking to. If you're not here, Zonda, I'm not talking so much to you as I am all of the cowards that's in the U.S. here. And you know who you are. And like I said, I really don't care if I offend you. I really don't give a shit. I don't want to offend you. That's not my intent. My intent is get off your ass and do something, you know, because you're not going to hide from this. You can't go anywhere. They're building bunkers that's like stories and stories deep. They won't tell you how deep they are. Of course not. They're bunkers. And we have given them so much money or power, I should say. So whether it's currency, whatever, but they have the ability to hire demons because you know who the most annoying pieces of shit are? It's not just Bill Gates, but have you ever seen like his bodyguards around him when he's going in someplace? Or Mark Zuckerberg? Have you seen the individuals that protects him as they're walking in and out? So literally what it is, watch them. They won't talk to you. They won't acknowledge you. They won't look anybody in the eyes or whatever. They just try to get right into what they have to do because they know once they get in there, you clearly don't know that when they get in there and they're looking at the judges, these same judges are not judges at all. They're all showing up for the same demonic rituals where they're drinking blood and everything else and giggling, laughing, and screwing each other in the hind ends. And I hope that's vulgar because that don't even begin to touch it. Have you not seen the Epstein files? Have you not seen any of that? Do you really need to see it? Do you really need to see a baby die? Do you? I don't. I don't need to see it to know that it's real. There's enough of it now. There's so many people. I have seen it. I've seen more than I want to see, but I make myself look at anything that I think would be pertinent to having truthful information. And the way I see it, I owe that to the children because what a complete pussy you would have to be. When I say that, I'm trying to be vulgar too. I really want it to be vulgar because these children are dying and you want to say, oh, well, I don't want to look at that. Oh, that might offend something in me. I want to hide from that too. How did we get to where we're at? We're hiding. We want to do our own thing. We want to protect ourselves, right? We want to protect our feelings. We want to protect ourselves because we don't want to see bad stuff, but yet we'll turn around and then we'll go watch something like what is it with the Boogeyman or Nightmare on Elm Street and Saw, and we'll go to all these. And what's the one movie that absolutely just stuck with me forever from the first? I couldn't believe that they even had it. The Hills Have Eyes. Anybody ever heard of the Hills Have Eyes movie or whatever? Where back then they was talking about eating children and stuff. That damn movie still is with me today or whatever. You know, it bothered me when it came out back, I think it was 80s, early 80s. I don't remember. But then, you know, they went on to make another one about it. And then when you start watching them, literally in her face talking about having pizza parties, you know, like Ellen DeGeneres did, and old Henry Weinstein or whatever, you know, shelling out money for the pizza and stuff they was going to have right in front of you and I. You know why? Because they see us as so stupid, like Palm Beach Pete, you know. Oh my God, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. There's really people that have not eliminated that fucker yet. You know, it's like I'm telling you. How come they don't say, well, why don't you come? Oh, which they did. Supposedly he took a DNA test, right? Took a DNA test. And then he disappeared, like he ran off from it or whatever. But then he showed back up 3 months later or however long it was. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I did take a DNA test. It turns out that his dad was Jeffrey Epstein. Well, gee, many, think about that. Then everybody's going to be like, oh, okay, well, that's his dad. Nah, we here are not that stupid. You're not that stupid. We're not that stupid. We know who it is. But you know what? The same ones allowing this shit, see, is his buddies. Like when they go to court, you know, like Zuckerberg and stuff. Anybody watch him walking into the courtroom and stuff? Or Bill Gates with all the little pony shows that they have. And it doesn't matter what country that you're in, Zonda. It doesn't matter. It does not matter whatever country that you're in. Because back at Roth, in the Jekyll Island, when the Rothschilds and all of them started this banking system, it was worldwide. So it doesn't matter where you're at. They're all in on it, right? But when I say that, remember this, okay? That don't include you and I. And they're the minority. They're not the majority. You and I are the majority. You know who the best person for the job usually winds up being? Is the one that don't want the job. So why did we buy into that fake ass system where we literally watch the pony show where they always say something? I'm telling you right now, look at all of them falling for the Vivek Ramaswamy bullshit right here in Ohio again or whatever, you know. He's talking about, well, we're going to do away with taxes. We don't want to do taxes on your life. Isn't it something how that always comes up every damn election? It's the same shit. But you know what's even crazier than that? Look at all the dog shit for brain individuals won't listen to reason when somebody's showing them the truth. If somebody would have came to me and said, hey, I want to show you something. I don't want you, you know, I don't want you to hear my voice. I don't want you to hear an accent. I don't want you to say what part of the world that I'm from. I want you to take this and just look at this and tell me what you come up with. It's kind of like, I don't know if, or how many here has wasted their time or whatever, which it's not a waste of time, really, any of that is. Because anytime you can get information and you see it and it's real, that's good. But you remember when they said, oh, here's Obama, here, vote for that. Because I fell for that shit too. I was on the Obama side, you know. Actually, I wasn't the Obama side. But I thought I was getting good information because it was coming from information that was owned. You know, they already owned that information. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. We got to quit playing in their demonic machine that they've created. It's so corrupted, there's no uncorrupting it. It is so screwed up. But you know, you remember the birth certificate thing that Trump was talking about? Da 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 da. Well, they finally, but see, isn't this ironic that once like all the shit's happened, like Obama's done come in and did all the damage that he possibly could do. He's gone now, right? Living, you know, in the lap of luxury off of you and my dime, see? Our slavery. He's living off of our slavery. Our slavery. Okay? But they finally looked into his birth certificate. And the guy said, look, the one that they finally, you know, they said, look, we just want you to take this and tell us this document, forget about who's on or whatever. He said, and that's what he said. He said, look, when I started looking at this document, I didn't see a name on there. He said, because I just, you know, wipe out a name and I just start looking at to see if that document adds up to being real or not. And then he goes on and he tells about, you know, you can look at the paper and you can look at this, and then you look for like things whenever they're signing, and it goes through the whole spiel. You can look it up. And he determined that it was a fake, that it had been tampered with. But he said, you know what, let's hand it off to like the main dude that's like an expert of all experts that's been doing this for however many years. So when he contacted that guy and he said, look, I want you to look at this document, and he said, oh, okay. And then when he found out who it was, he said, well, I want to let you know now, I was an Obama supporter, and I don't know if I'm the best person for this job. And he said, well, he said, I just want you to look at it. If you don't think you can be, you know, and he said, well, I just want to be upfront that, you know, I was for Obama. And he said, well, just look at it. So he took it and he looked at it. And when he come back in, you can look this up. He said, look, the facts are the facts. He said, I liked Obama. Said, but when you look at this document, it's been tampered with and it's a fake. It was made, you know. It was forged or whatever, you know. So, and that's what I'm saying. Don't listen to who's telling you a message. Use your discernment. You know, eyes to see and ears to hear. You know, for you. Take it off and examine like what's going on right now in your world, and then say, you know what, maybe I better do something. You know, but there's no maybe. You have to do something. Because if you don't, we're screwed. You know, that's the bottom line. But I can tell you this, when I'm standing in front of the judge, which we all will, at least this will be one that I won't have to roll across by saying, well, I was just complicit. Not in this. Now, I'll have many mistakes and sins and stuff like that to answer for, but not this one. Not whenever it comes that I wouldn't open my mouth to stand up for children, because I am telling you that is why I'm opening my mouth. And I don't give a damn about any of the rest of it. They want to murder children for no other reason, okay? And if you murder children, then what that's saying is that I don't care about anything except for my way. It has to, they have to think my way, they have to be of my blood, they have to, you know, because anything else is imperfect. You know, and furthermore, like I said, they see any other children as animals. And they're literally even saying, no kidding, they're saying it to butt plug Trump and all the rest of them. Lindsey Graham, thank goodness he's dead and in the ground. But they are blatantly telling them, and I had a video that I was going to play, but I'm not going to this time. But the video is of a demonic Jew who's sitting there saying that the non-Jews have to die. The West is going to go down and blah, blah, blah. And he goes on, he's talking, and he says, even the ones that think that they're on our side, that they're safe, are not safe. This is literally coming out of their own mouth. He's not the only one saying this. There's different ones. But he says they think they're safe because they're helping us, that they're supporting us. Said, but they're thinking that we're friends with them or what. We're not friends. We're not anything. Said, only thing they're doing is getting a little bit more, and I forget the word that he uses, but basically time. And he even says it's more time, and he gets the rest of them that's there, the other demonic Jews, to agree with him. But he says, I don't want them to have more time. Do you? Do you want them to have more time? I don't want them to have more time. That's what he says. And who's he talking about? They're talking about idiots like butt plug Trump. They're literally saying that all of them think that they're, so it's absolutely crazy. But here's the thing: instead of watching and looking, we know they're demonic as hell. What we need to do is get our ass together and do something here. And I don't see anybody staying up. Matter of fact, I called in, and I have that video that I could put on too. I may do that. But I called Thomas Massey's office and pointed out that they're all just a bunch of fake put on bullshit, because they have what's called a soft no. I don't know if you guys watched, like when they voted for this merging with Israel bullshit or whatever, but there was 9 of them that voted no, like they went against it, Republicans and all that shit, which is all horseshit. Okay. They done what's called a soft no, which means they can do that because they already know it's going to pass anyway. And the rest of them aren't mad at them for voting no, because they know that they actually understand and realize that it's going to pass. It's just a game that just their system that's twisted up, that they all know what's going on. But it's so they can go back and tell the constituents, not we the people, not their bosses, because we know that's bullshit now, right? But they can go back to the constituents, as they like to call us. That keeps them from calling us, the bosses or the people, or giving us some kind of power. So constituents, oh, I voted no on that. Oh, I voted no on that. And then whenever I called out, well, why didn't he do? Oh yeah, he tried to stop the NR 14 or 19 or whatever the hell that was, trying to. But they shot that down too. I said, yeah, that's called a loser, and he's in on the same bullshit, If it's all a ruse. They pretend like they're fighting against something, just like Tucker Carlson. He's an agent. He's an agent working for the demonics, I'm telling you. Now, they took Charlie Kirk out because I don't think he was buying into the whole. He wasn't a part of it. Charlie Kirk, I think and I wish now that I would have paid closer attention to him, but I didn't feel that I had to, because his head seemed to be on pretty straight, So we don't need to look at those that are fighting and going the same way we are, but we do need to look at them, because like with Tucker Carlson, there's something always about him. Because does anybody remember when there was talk of a Trump Carlson ticket running together, and then it come out to be J.D. Vance here, or whatever, who is not J.D. Vance. His name's changed like 3 or 4 times, and now it's J.D. Vance, who also was propped up and produced and made by Peter Thiel, the same one that has the flock cameras and stuff. Nah. We never said attack Iran, however you want to pronounce it. We're talking about the same place. But yet they did. And when I say they, the demonics did. Am I trying to exclude U.S. Incorporated? Absolutely not, because they are one and the same. They've been one and the same. It's not so much that they've joined them together. It's that we've already known this has happened. And my aggravation is that how do you get the sheeple to actually realize, not wake up, piss on the wake up thing. I mean, because you got, there's a lot of smart people. I'm telling you, I talked to them and stuff. You guys on here showed me things. But how do you get somebody who's locked into a faith that they believe is right on, and just let them see for themselves the information so that they can make their own determination and see the truth for themselves? Because you know that once they've seen the information and them having common sense, that there's no other conclusion that they could come to than the truth, you know? And that's all that, you know. But how do you do that? How do you get somebody to slow down, take time? Because everybody locks on to their truth. You know, it's like, oh, I know enough, and then they don't want to look stupid, of course, but that's not it. They're lazy, and they don't want to take the time or the brain power because they're so busy with other things going on in their life. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm done with this here segment here. I wanted to call them while I was on here and tell these enemy pieces of shit to get out. I actually have a recording that I did yesterday doing that, but I didn't post that neither. And like I said, I've been doing the lazy thing myself, the cowardly thing, and I've been using the excuse that there's other things that I must get done, but I really don't. Here's the thing, I don't see anything else more important than what I'm talking about right now. I just don't. I mean, if you're talking about a child that's suffering right now, and see, here's what the big piss off is. You know, if you're going to help somebody, you have to be in a position to help them. But what they're doing is they're literally shaking our foundation that we should have solid underneath of our feet to make us unstable. And if we're unstable, they know that we're not going to be able to help somebody else, let alone ourselves, you know, or help ourselves, let alone somebody else. But when you look at what they're doing, Trump said that he is going to protect his friends. Okay. When he said that, what he's saying is he's going to do whatever it is that he has to do to make sure nothing happens to his own kind. Because they are one in the same. Now, is this just bash on Trump? Absolutely, positively it's bash on his ass. Because he is a liar. And he is a pedophile. And I don't care if they don't have any picture or whatever actually showing that. It's just, if we talked about this, so I'm going to show you the definition of complicit again. If he's saying that he is going to protect his friends, okay, why would you have to protect them to begin with? Okay, what did they need protection from? Because they're telling us, they say, oh, we're going to put these flock cameras and watch everything you do. And then these idiots or whatever that says, well, if you don't have nothing to hide, well, what would it matter? You know, which are dumbasses that should be shot on sight. Okay, well, if they don't have anything to hide, why would they need to be protected by butt plug there, right? He needs a butt plug too. I actually watched a couple videos where they say that he shit himself or whatever, but you know what? I really, I was kind of aggravated about that too because, I mean, only if he would do it to the death would it really make a difference to me. You know what I mean? But outside of that, that's not really going to help what it is that we should be. And yeah, am I talking nasty? Am I trying to be funny? No, I'm not. I really am not trying to be funny there. Um, RFK. Here's a little fun little detail or whatever. What was the guy's name that shot Ruby? Jack Ruby. You remember old Jack Ruby? They shot JFK. Well, anybody care to guess at what Jack Ruby's real last name is? The whole name? Anybody? I'll wait a couple seconds here so you can discuss it. Rubenstein. What kind of a name is Rubenstein? Anyway, I think we'll leave it right there. I mean, I got so much other shit or whatever that I could go on and on about, but you know, I think that's enough. Self documentation, like I said, if you was here, thank you for being here. Don't care if you subscribe. I don't even know how long I'll be here. I just want you to have the information. I would ask, as I pray for all of you, I definitely could use that for sure. Peace out.